Hello, I'm Ron Casteel. Our previous videos focused on why people buy and a home demonstration process for increasing perceived value called FBI, Feature, Benefit, and Involvement. Let's take a little break from the home demonstration process. Of course, we won't stray too far from our goal. Learning methods that, when professionally employed, will make it more likely a person will want to buy a Homeport home. My wife and I were privileged to host a young man from Uganda who was studying for the priesthood at the Pontifical College Josephinum in Columbus, Ohio. While English is the national language of Uganda, surprised? At home, he spoke Lugandan. I knew I was to meet his parents one day, so I asked him to teach me some basic Lugandan. Soon, whenever we met, I would say, Chikati, Oliotia. Got that? Chikati, Oliotia. If you're from Uganda or have friends that grew up in Kampala, the capital, you'll recognize that Lugandan phrase, which means, hello, how are you? Your response would, of course, be, Jendi, I'm fine. There's another word I need to share with you. It's Lugandan-like for sure, Gri Kwal Na de Monsaklos. The meaning, do this consistently and you'll be among the very best. I'm sure many of you are already guessing that I made up that Lugandan sounding word. You may all go to the head of the class, but listen carefully as we explore the meaning of that made up word. Griquoma Demansaklos is, of course, an acronym. Just like FBI, it is a memory aid, and it will serve to remind you of what exactly you're trying to accomplish when you meet someone for the first time, in person or on the phone. And they are depending upon you to help them determine if a particular home, or for that matter, any home, is right for them. I am not sure who said it, but I've never forgotten the old saw, if you don't know where you're going, any road will do. And the equally important phrase to me, if you don't know where you are, you will never be able to get where you want to go. Griquoma Demansaklos is a method for remembering where you are and where you're going. It is a process. Let's look at it together. G-R-E-E, the first four letters of the word stand for greet. What is your standard greeting upon first meeting a client, on the phone or in person? Now, there's no wrong greeting as long as it is client focused. Hello, what can I do for you today? Hello, what brings you into the model or the office? Not bad, but a little short on what I call the person-to-person factor. A better greeting identifies the client as unique, something like, what caused you to call me today? Or, if appropriate, aren't you aware there's a football game on TV? Why are you calling me? Or, how did you talk the kids into doing this, assuming there are children in tow? Why greet? Well, it's to establish your mutual humanity and to dispel the sometimes awkwardness of the person who wants to buy but is a little leery of the person who they know wants to sell. I hope some of you wanted to interrupt me at this point and challenge me for using the word sell. More on that in a later video. I do have to tell you a story. One of the best greetings I've ever heard involved a young man who was actually late in opening up for a couple who was patiently waiting at the door with two little kids in tow. After his appropriate apology, he asked if they were going to visit several homes that day. Yes was the answer, followed with a long sigh, indicating it was going to be a long day. He seized on the opportunity his lateness presented, and after the couple completed the visitor card, he quickly put it in the copier and handed them 5 copies of the card saying, here, the least I can do for being late is to give you copies of your registration so you can just hand it to the people you're going to see next. It'll save you a lot of time. What a greeting. And imagine what it did to the competition and to the salesperson's chances to demonstrate the home. They went up. Nice greeting. How do you know if your greeting is a good one and it is time to move on? When the client feels the focus is on them, not on you, you have greeted. Sometimes that can happen in 30 seconds. Other times it could take quite a bit longer. Okay, you've greeted, now what? The next 4 letters are Q-U-A-L, which stand for qualify. I have to be careful here. If I told you all the stories that I have of not qualifying properly, we would have an hour-long video. Not good. Maybe I will slip in one or two later. Many of you are saying, of course you must qualify. And I would respond by saying, for what? If you're qualifying for anything involving your needs, you're on the wrong path. Hopefully, some of you would say, well, you qualify for NNA. Now, NA does not stand for not applicable. N stands for need, and A stands for ability. You must qualify for both every time. First, let's look at N, need. How do they want to live? Most importantly, compared to how they're living now. And remember FBI. Need can be determined sometimes quite simply. You just ask the question, why do you want to move? Notice I didn't say how many bedrooms do you want, or I didn't say what price are you looking for. All that comes later. Ability, the second letter in NA, stands for their ability to handle the transaction. Now, that can be determined using several different approaches. As I've said several times in these videos, we'll cover that in a subsequent one. But let me just say one thing at this point. You never look the person in the face and say, how much money did you make last year? Requiem de Monteclos is a system for doing a good job when you represent Homeport. If you omit any part of the system, or you place it in the wrong sequence, you may, during the contact, not be effective. So if you're not sure of a person's needs, and you're not sure of a person's ability to satisfy those needs, their financial situation, you need to take a deep breath and work on that before going forward with the process. We will, as I promised, discuss qualifying in a great detail later. Of course, the FBI system we've already reviewed is a wonderful approach to qualifying for need. Watch it again if you need to. Requiem, DEM. You saw this one coming. DEM stands for demonstration. It is now time to really tie down the needs that you think are paramount for this client and add to the perceived value of the Homeport home by doing the FBI demo. A word of caution. Keep asking your client how much time they have or want to spend with you, understanding what the home is all about. You should spend as much time as they want to spend. Some of my demos have taken so long I had to order a pizza. But at the client's insistence, not mine. And they wanted the extra time as much as I did. We're now at Requiem dem ANSO. ANSO stands for answering objections. We're almost at the end. There will be some objections, I can guarantee it. Be prepared for the obvious based on what other clients have told you about the property, or based upon your feature analysis of the property. Invite the objections. Why? Because they exist, whether you know them or not. They will not want to buy the property if the objections are not reviewed and subsequently minimized or eliminated. So look forward to them. It means that they are listening and looking and experiencing. Hooray for FBI. With the property, there will be objections. Any property, there will be objections. Plan for them, and you'll be fine. We're at the end. Requiem de Monteclos. You may have already guessed this one. CLOS stands for close. Now, many marketing gurus will tell you that closing is a negative term based upon blue suede shoe techniques that are all salesperson focused, not clients focused. Don't you hate it when you're techniqued? I know I do. To me, however, closing is merely confirming. Confirming what you've already determined. That number one, the house will meet their needs better than their current home or another home they're considering. Number two, that they are qualified insofar as you can determine for the home. And number three, that this home will give them a better way to live if they own it. By the way, that statement, a better way to live, deserves its own video, perhaps another day. Think of closing merely as summarizing what you know about the buyer. If you don't know enough to summarize, well, having them buy is a long shot. But confirming that the home meets a buyer's need gives them a reason to buy. You have closed. So get the paperwork started and let them buy. Now you know some faux Lugandan, made up Lugandan, Greek or not close. If you try to use that term in Kampala, you may get some strange looks. But remember the meaning. Do this consistently and you'll be among the very best. Use it when presenting a Homeport home, and you just might find yourself looking at a buyer. Oh, by the way, tuna la magana. Look it up.